Hi, I'm Crumbzz and this is my first video log. Right off the bat, I'm going to talk to you about the issue at hand, which is I just ordered 2 calzones, medium, and each one is about the size of a small laptop. I don't know how I'm going to finish these. Secondly, talk about some League of Legends. So I started doing lessons recently, and I did one lesson a couple days ago for $100 an hour, which I taught someone how to jungle. And frankly, if I was on the receiving end of these lessons, I would see that these prices are really steep. But enough of that. I think that to know something, you really need to be able how to teach it. Once you are able to teach something to someone else, that's when you truly know the subject at question. And that's what I'm doing. There's also some site that I heard about that does lessons of 100 people at a time. One player teaches these people for $10 each, so that would be total like $1,000 for that person. That sounds interesting. And speaking of League of Legends, we went 2-1 last week in the LCS. We beat TSM, Coast, and lost to Cloud9. And the game against Cloud9, we should have won that. And if we play them against in playoffs, I would have no problem with that. I think we can take them down and then shatter everyone's dreams about the hope for North America. We played TSM and the game was 8-1, and then my tamed throwing arm went loose again and started Jarvan ulting and comboing into people and flashing into them, and then we just started throwing really badly, and at one point I thought that game was lost. I really thought I threw too hard and it was already all over. But they slipped up. Reginald went bot lane, gave us a free Baron, so thank you, Reginald. And then Wild Turtle went mid lane, and I got lucky and caught him in a cataclysm as he quick draws, so he wasn't able to flash out. And we won. Yeah, so we beat TSM. Our record against him is 3-1. Then we played Coast, and playing against Coast is a really boring game until a couple of minutes past the 50-minute mark, where we started grouping up, taking objectives, taking kills, and catching them off guard. And then next week we have 5 games. That's super week. Typically you have 1 week to prepare for a super week, but this time they give us 2. So we got a lot of preparation time, and so do other teams. And that's not something that you can let it get to you. It's like, oh, they're going to be preparing too. You really shouldn't worry about that. Just focus on ourselves and what we're going to do to beat them, and just playing our best game, because in the end, if we give it our best and we actually lose giving it our best, then they deserve to win. This isn't even another topic. Started eating healthy, in which I went to the store and I didn't buy chips, I didn't buy pop. I don't like pop anyways, but I didn't buy it, or I didn't buy a lot of chocolate or snacks. I just bought healthy food like fish and vegetables and fruit and all sorts of things to keep your body going. And I did that in preparation for Super Week, just because to prepare for such a big deal, you just don't have to be on top of your game. You have to be on top of your actual sanity, how healthy you are, how good you feel, and I think that's a big part of it. Taking care of yourself, doing that, and trying not to eat as much junk food. But I did buy 2 massive calzones that I am probably gonna have to finish myself, and it's gonna take me a couple days to finish these whopper of calzone. It's literally like a pizza folded in half and then in half again. It's enormous, and that was a medium-sized one, and the place had an up to extra large calzone, so I really cannot fathom how large that must have been. What kind of box would they have used for that? Would it come in 2 boxes that you just unite, and then they tell you this is a full-size calzone? Like, there was so much cheese in it that I was actually scraping it off one, trying to put it aside because I couldn't actually eat it because it was too much. And let's see, What else about that? Oh, saxophone. Everybody asks. I stream often, sometimes. Weekly, you could say I stream weekly. I want to set up a really nice schedule, so I'll hold true to that. But everybody keeps asking if I play the saxophone, and I do. I'm learning it, but the thing is that I've been slacking off it because I lost my gloves to play the saxophone, and my hand condition, hyperhidrosis, which is also why I wear a towel on my mouse, doesn't let me play the saxophone for too long if my hands sweat, because what happens is that my fingers start sticking to the keys and I can't play it properly. I don't know any songs or melodies, but I just know a couple tunes here and there, so it could be a nice little melody that you'd hear in a very, very slow jazz club. Well, enough of that. I've been cooking as well, healthy, and right now I have a pan-seared tilapia recipe, which hopefully I'll be able to prepare right before the food goes bad. And that's about it. I actually managed to get my visa from Canada to work in the US as a pro gamer, which is a really big step forward. I also constantly watch the EU LCS, even though sometimes it's really early in the morning, and I do think the EU meta is so far behind. Watching them play, you can tell something's wrong. The laning phase lasts forever. The champion picks are odd. Their strategies are somewhat lackluster, and a lot of the times people get away with running like teleport on mid lane. I'm talking to MYM. He's Cesario mid laner that only runs TP. I just don't know how he makes it out of laning phase. How is nobody punishing him for that? And the jungle picks, I saw Alternate play Vi. Like, what? I mean, Vi is fun, but I just don't think she's actually a ban-worthy champion. Because the play of Vi is very straightforward. It's not like you're gonna be doing some crazy shit with her and somebody's gonna be thinking, oh, I have to ban this champion because he's so good at Vi that it's worth it. We can't risk playing against this. I don't think that's how the champion works at all. You see some champions have very straightforward mechanics to them. I think Vi is one of them. You know when she's gonna ulti you. You know how her damage is. She's probably gonna try to get 2 autos on you and finish you off with the E to get the W, armor shred, and all that. And then you have other champions whose versatility is innately ridiculously high, and those are the champions that become bannable, such as like Lee Sin or Elise. Like, if you're trying to stop an Elise from ganking, you know that she has a trillion paths to go for. Like, she could Q over, she could repel into a creep, Q further, flash cocoon, and hit you off that. Vi's not going to do that shit. The best thing Vi would do is like Q over a wall and then flash R. That's pretty straightforward in my opinion compared to what Elise can do, since she's got so many other routes that she can go for. And same goes for Lee Sin, which Lee Sin and Elise are some of my favorite junglers to play. And they did a rework of the jungle. It's not too big, but the biggest thing is the item changes. Bulwark is dead. It's removed. It's the newest locket of the game. That's for some, if you didn't play the game way back, locket was an item that gave you a ridiculous amount of regen, CDR, health, and mana. And you ran it on Udyr and Gragas, and you literally never died because you'd combo it with Spirit Visage, and you just tanked forever. Because Gragas, you know, you have the damage reduction on him, and then you combo that with SV and locket, and then you just are unkillable. You'd go tank, and then item of the cream of the crop would be a Rabadon's death cap. So Bulwark's gone, and they replaced it with Locket. And the thing is, Locket is a tanking item, aura. It's not an item that makes you, the jungler, tanky. And that's the problem with it. The item makes your allies tanky. Like, the role of jungler was not changed. The champions were not changed. Objective in the jungle was not changed. Champion picks are not going to become varied now. The only thing that changed is the itemization, which means that the role of jungle still remains as a somewhat tank/initiator. But the thing is, without Bulwark, if you're gonna be rushing Locket, you no longer have the luxury of being tanky and able to actually tank for your team. So you're gonna have to either build Locket and become a real support, not an engage. I'm sure Locket on Nunu is magnificent, but that's not an optimal item to become a single threat champion. I think right now Locket's dead. Nobody should be buying that item. I know personally I wouldn't buy that item actually ever. Staying away from it completely. And I think the items right now that you have to watch out for are Randuin's Omen as a first item. You go, I'm saying first item because it's already assumed that as a jungler you're going to be getting Ancient Golem and Ninja Tabi pretty much every single game, unless you're playing Eve, which will go Lizard, or you're playing, yeah, Eve. That's pretty much it, if you're running Elder Lizard. But Randuin's Rush is really strong right now. It's an item that gives you, as an initiator, an extra slow, an extra CC, and makes you tanky. And if you can stay away from the magic damage, you can jump on the physical damage on the enemy team and CC them forever. It also makes you hard to catch because obviously you have the attack speed slow and you can just pop Randuins here and there. And there's nothing more fun than jumping into a team of enemies and Tempest as Lee Sin, and then when they start turning on you, waiting the auto animation to fall off, you Randuins them right after, and then they spend like 6 seconds looking around trying to hit you. You'd be surprised how much it affects mages too. When they start attacking slow, it gets to their mind. They're like, I can't attack him. What should we do? But yeah, Randuin's Frozen Heart. If you're a jungler and you're watching this, I recommend you never buy a Locket. And Spirit Visage is a really strong item for magic resist. The thing is, SV doesn't give you damage. It's completely defensive. So I often stray away from it and go for a Hex Drinker or a Maw, which is a much more offensive item. And innately it gives you what? Let me check the actual damage on it. I bought it at one of these games. It gives you a 400 magic absorption shield, which is basically 400 health towards magic damage. It's like buying 400 health. That's pretty damn good if you ask me. And it gives you 60 AD, which is great. The thing is, Hex Drinker works early. It's a really strong, powerful early to mid game item, and the late game of Maw is rather strong too if they don't have a super high magic damage. That's about it, what I wanted to talk about the jungle. It's rather serious vlog, to be honest. I'm not gonna say, I can't really say any jokes by myself. And yeah, too bad Elise got nerfed. God, I love that champion. I love playing the broken things. Well, that's about it. If you want to watch more of this, you can follow my stream, which will probably be linked in some description, and my Twitter and all that. I had a Facebook, but I don't use it anymore, just because I think Facebook's outdated, and for some reason I just kept using it more than Twitter, and then I'd get like people unfollowing me every time I try to do shit, so I just strayed away from it. Took like 1 year to get 4,000 followers in there, and Twitter is just that much easier. But there's 22,000 people following me on it, almost 23,000. It's just kind of weird how when I say something less than 140 words, 23,000 people can see that. Who would have thought? Well, that's it for this vlog. Thanks for watching.